stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part one of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, on social media or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin.
Well, there you go. Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the English Defence League radio show, broadcasting live on blogtalkradio.com. The English Defence League radio show, the truth and the voice of the EDL. Tonight, we're doing something a little bit special tonight. As you know, we've got certain things that's going on in this country. People are still going to the polls, voting for their MEPs and that, so we won't know nothing until Sunday. So myself and Dave will be talking about this, but let you know, anyway, the radio show this evening is called the EDL Radio Show, the 1st of June, Bristol Demo, on behalf of Bunny, Kevin Graham. Welcome to the English Defence League radio show, with your host, Jeff Spider Mitchell. And my panelists this evening are Jan the Tornado Renee and Dave Agador Milne. Unfortunately, Jan, unless she's here, she might be, it could be away on assignment, but we will see. Agador Milne. Also, tonight we will be discussing the upcoming demo on the 1st of June in Bristol on behalf of Bunny, Kevin Crayon, his friends and family. This demo is about what happened to Bunny, who died just a few weeks before he was released from prison. What was his crime to spend a year in prison? He threw a bacon sandwich at a mosque. In a normal, common sense time at the worst, and the worst would have been a slap on his wrist and a fine. But sadly, as we know, we now live in an Orwellian age. We'll also talk about stories from the United States of America and across the globe, covering timely subjects, including the EU elections. Foot soldiers, angels, Brexiteers, patriots, and supporters of the cause. This is your platform and voice. Please call in. No surrender ever. And the number to call in, if you're outside the United States, if you want to call in, the number to call in is 001. Oh my God, I forgot the number, Dave. 858-777-5934. Repeat again. If you're outside the United States, the number to call in is 001-858-777-5934. And just one more thing. All that is necessary for evil to prevail is that good men do nothing. Of course, that was by Edmund Burke. So without further ado, I'd like to bring my buddy on. I hope he's got all the ones this evening, Dave. Good evening. Is that you, Mr. Milner?
Good evening, Jeff, and good evening to everybody in the UK, and good afternoon to everybody in the States, and hello to everyone around the world, and, of course, off Earth. Yes, we've got a big show today, Jeff, and first, though, I want to ask people to please pray up a bit, because we over here in the States last night had some tornadoes go through a few of our states. And 3 people were killed in the state. Oh, my God, I didn't know that, Dave. 3 people were killed in the state of...
that, Dave.
3 people were killed in the state of Missouri. because of tornadoes that came out of some severe thunderstorms that went through, and quite a bit of damage was done to Jefferson City and other places in that state. So, folks, if you would please, remember these people, in your prayers, we would appreciate it. It is
very
getting
sad,
into
tragic. I'm sorry to hear that you had a loss of people, Dave. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. That's news to me. First I heard it, mate.
Yeah, as I say, we're getting into the summer season, and here in the United States, we have, of course, what folks in the UK, if they know anything about the United States, we have what they call Tornado Alley. So it's always a possibility that we live with here in the United States, and tornadoes can strike anywhere, even in the UK. But we know. Wanted to bring that up.
I see one years ago. Believe it or not, Dave, was travelling down to Great Yarmouth and was going across some flatland, and it was called like the Fens. And as we was going along, I looked to the left of me. I've been a passenger. I was looking to the left of me, and I see this great funnel of one, and I said to my ex, "My goodness me, I think that's a tornado or something." It looks like it, because it was flat and it was quite windy and that, and it's the first time I've actually seen one of those. I've seen a water fountain, but I've never seen a tornado. So it's not unexpected that we do have them, but not as a severe as you do in the United States, brother. I've got to admit,
right.
You do get if you're going to get it big, you get it big in the United States. Am I right, brother?
Yeah, that's true. And I have to tell you, Jeff, I saw one. Well, I saw one myself. And most tornadoes don't touch the ground. The one I saw was when I was in my first apartment in Fort Worth, Texas. And this was not very far away from Carswell Air Force Base up there. And what I saw was it was just typical. It came down out of this black cloud. And it looked like a big floppy boob with little fingers, kind of twirling around underneath it, but it didn't quite make it to the ground.
Did you say it looked like a boob, Dave?
Yeah, I did say it looked like a big floppy boob. Yes, Jeff. And I had a few girlfriends at the time I could compare that with. So,
so. Mr. Milner, children listen to this show.
Well,
it's I wouldn't know anything, Dave. You just carry on, brother. Go ahead.
It's a fun lady part, children. Ask your parents. Okay. Yeah, Jeff, now, you're talking about, you did mention this demonstration, and I think it's only appropriate, really, that one take place to mark the life of Kevin Crean. In all respect to his family and friends, we did not use the pictures of Kevin in the slides because we're not doing that without the family's permission. We don't want to exploit anything like that. If we do get their permission...
Well, this show was set up on behalf of his family, and I know his family appreciate what we're doing, because when I talked to Steve last night and he asked me about it, and I said, it's done. There's no doubt about it. You just got to give us a call about it. And he said it's on behalf of his family, and there's a lot of patriots that's going to be there.
Excellent.
It's only right, and it's fitting. But no, as you say, Dave, to pay respects to Bunny, Kevin, and his family. This goes out to the family. But Dave, please continue, brother. What you saying there?
Well, Jeff, and guys, we will get to talking about the elections later, but we do have some other things to discuss that we think are important. One of them, Jeff, you know about this one. That yesterday there was a remembrance that was held. A remembrance ceremony that was held for the Manchester bombing victims, and of course for Fusilier Lee Rigby, and that is if you want to go looking for this, guys, I have this story now in queue for the studio. If you want to go looking for this, it is at Breitbart London. It's Manchester bombing victims, drummer Lee Rigby, remembrance on terror attacks, double anniversary. And Jeff, with your permission, I'll go ahead and play this now, brother.
Yes, please, Dave.
All right, here we go, guys. This is the English Defense League radio show, by the way. This will be about 2.5 minutes long.
Manchester bombing victims, drummer Lee Rigby remembered on terror attacks double anniversary. By Breitbart London on May 22, 2019. The victims of two terror attacks on British soil that took place on May 22 in 2013 and 2017 have been remembered. And with a church service in honoring first responders to the Manchester bombing, while the nation's terror threat level remains at severe. Fusilier Lee Rigby, an army drummer and machine gunner, was run over with a car and then murdered in an attempted beheading on May 22, 2013 by radical Islamist converts Michael Adeboloho and Michael Adebowale as he walked near his barracks in Woolwich, London. The attack was the first of its kind in the United Kingdom, which uses an automobile as a ramming weapon, followed up by a dismounted knife rampage which has become all too familiar both in Britain and in Europe. On the same day in 2017, Libyan origin radical Muslim bomber Salman Ramadan Abadi killed 22 people and injured a further 800 with a suicide bomb attack at the Manchester Arena venue. The Islamists detonated the bomb as concert-goers were leaving after an Ariana Grande concert, and the blast killed several children who had attended the event, and parents who had come to pick them up. The youngest victim of Abadi was 8-year-old Safi Rousas. Lee Rigby's mother released a statement through the charity established to honor his memory Wednesday, in which she said, "It's exactly 6 years since Lee was murdered and it never gets any easier. The more time passes, the more we miss him because it's been so long since we last heard his laughter, saw his smiling face or felt his arms wrapped around us. It's also a horrendous time for all the families who lost loved ones at the Manchester Arena bombing 2 years ago." The terrorists were given life sentences in 2014. As Breitbart London reported this year, Michael Adebowale has since requested a transfer to a Nigerian prison as part of a prisoner swap deal, which was claimed to be an easier place to spend time behind bars as he is seen as a target for other inmates who are angry at his actions. In Manchester, Korean pop band Blackpink played a concert commemorating the attack, and a private church service was held for the families of victims and first responders who had been first on the scene after the attack, the BBC reports.
And there you are, Jeff. And listeners, and Jeff, there you are. There you are, Jeff.
My apologies, Dave. I just muted myself.
No worries.
Just while that was while it's playing out. It does make you think, doesn't it? Those poor children and the poor parents that were going to pick the children up. It proves how evil that we have that walks amongst us. That's what we say for many years, that there's evil that walks amongst us. That's why I will say to people out there, please, wherever you do, if you're gathering with people, be vigilant. Always watch what's going on around you. Don't be taken unaware, because these things come out of the blue before you know it, and before you know it, you could be a victim or even worse. The thing about it was, Dave, that as Lee's mother said, it doesn't get any easy for the families, because every year that goes past, there's another year they miss that young man. An awesome young man, the smile, and those are the things that you'll remember. If you lose a friend, you always remember certain things about your friends, their smile. When you lose a family member, those things are so in your mind all the time, aren't they, Dave? But as I say, at the same time, last night, got to say about, it was commemorated yesterday, but Tommy Robinson, he was just finishing off his last part of the campaign in Salford last night. And Tommy, there was there's some of these Marxist little turds who's standing on the other side, basically policed. The police was policing them and that. But Tommy said, look, this is, the 6 years anniversary, and we're going to pay a minute's homage to the victims and that. And he calls for silence. And the only ones that was chanting over the top of this silence for the people that lost their lives. But guess who, Dave? Those Marxist little scumbags. They can't even hold off their venomous hate towards people. They had to chant over the top of what was happening. Totally disrespectful. But we don't expect any different from these people, because they're not brought up, are they, Dave? They're dragged up by this Marxist cultist society, which they're so embedded in and so brainwashed. They don't know any different, no better, no respect. That's what myself and Dave was talking about the show, before he started the show, wasn't we, Dave? And but I got to say that the last part of the campaign last night, Tommy was on fire last night. Ladies and gentlemen, you get a chance to listen to Mr. Robinson. You could probably get a better future MEP. We shall know Sunday. You will see. He goes from better to better, and he brought one of his fans up on stage whose parents who threatened to throw him out because he supports Tommy Robinson. He's probably going to have to find a place, but he stood there and he said, "I'll always support Tommy," and it was so moving. This young man, he's had to put up with a lot, the threats, this, that, and the other. But this is what happens when you become a patriot, isn't it, Dave? And how many times have we heard these stories? People losing their jobs, threats, attacks, milkshakes, like what we saw today, Dave, outside one of our polling booths. A veteran, an old gentleman, ladies and gentlemen. It was a young man. This was an old veteran. He was all spruced up for the day, and one of these little scumbags, see who he's going to the Brexit party, decided to come over and throw a milkshake over this old chap, this old veteran chap. It was disgusting. It was disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. And, it's angered us all, so many people spoke out against what happened. But the gentleman did return, and he come back, and he had two fellow veterans, big lads, standing beside that man. My respects, sir. Thank you for doing what you were doing, sir. And, of course, to the other two gentlemen, two great veterans. Great respect to you guys, always. But, Dave, so many things to discuss tonight, isn't there? With everybody's going, everybody's really got an air of them, of instead of this doom and gloom thing hanging over people's heads, it's people are lifted. Tommy Robinson has lifted the communities across, the working class communities across the Northwest and across the world, basically. This young man who's took everything that they could throw at him, and he still wants to do his part. He's loved by, the thing about I've noticed with Tommy, how loved a person he is. He's what do you call a lovable rogue? But no, there's a lot of love and respect for Tommy, because he's standing up and he's speaking out on behalf of the communities. That's what he's done, and we talked about what happened. They're being attacked. The police. In fact, now we know now that it was the Labour Party had been in talks with the MDL, also facilitated by the local constabulary, to march these MDL hooded thugs to the venue where Tommy was, where there was women, children, babes in arms, to attack this young man and in his campaign. And what you see with Tommy was something that we will always be talking about. He didn't worry about himself. He was more worried about the children. He made sure that children were put into the van. There was a van that he was travelling in. Put into the van and he said to the police there, just get them out of the area, get them out, and he said, oh, we'll meet you at a pub, like, you know, and that's what happened. While all this was going on, bricks, bottles, etc., was being thrown at the people, the community. You know, it was just unbelievable. I won't ever forget this, what happened, and nor will you, who was there. I know there's a lot of you might be listening in tonight who was there, and you'll know what I mean. This should never have happened. They should never have been allowed to march through to a campaign and to attack it with the police watching them do it. Ladies and gentlemen, what country are we living in? Is it such an Orwellian time now that the respect for the police have gone? I know this because I talk to people all the time. We've got no respect for them. They're the enemy now. They used to be, you know, the ones that you would call the police and say, you know, I've got a problem, and they would help. Not now. It's a total different time now. They're enforcement officers for Sharia. That's what they did that last week, wasn't it, Dave? But let me pass it back to you, Dave. I do get a bit emotional about it because there was little kids, little babies, for goodness sake, Dave. Little babies. And they were attacking. They didn't care if a baby was killed. Or one of the objects that was thrown, Dave, which we talked about, was so big, if it hit anybody, you're dead. If that hit a baby, that baby would have been dead. That is how bad it was, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm disgusted that the police, our police force, the police force of Great Britain and United Kingdom, marched these people to a venue to attack a campaign. Never in all my time I've been alive I've seen this sort of behaviour ever. And I would never expect I was going to witness it, but we have been witnessing these things over the last few years as deteriorate. But I'd like to pass it back to you. I'm sorry, mate, but I do get... It's been playing on my mind, you know, what's been going on, the way that the police are acting as well as though. They're more like the SS now. They're more like... No, you lot are like Nazis. You listen to me. You're like Nazis now. And as I say, there'll be a time and there'll be a place for you people, you ones who do these horrific things, allow it to happen. Don't think I was just doing my duty. It's nothing to do with that. When you know your fella, for the men and women are coming under attack, you stand there. You're not just following orders, you are the enemy. You're a collaborator. Don't forget, as I say, there'll be a time and a place where you will be held accountable. Take my word for it. But Dave, let me pass it back to you. I'm not making no threats. I'm just making a total promise, Dave. It's a promise to them scumbags out there. Back to you, Dave.
All right. Now I want to roll it back to what you were talking about earlier. Before we get into the SHR Media promos here. You know, you were talking about the moment of silence that Tommy Robinson had, and the fact that the lefties were chanting and things like that. I get so sick of people characterizing patriots here in the United States get characterized the same way, American brothers and sisters, but people characterizing EDL members and Tommy Robinson supporters and patriots in the UK as thugs and hooligans and this-ists and that-ists and this-ophobes and that-ophobes. But that moment that you were talking about needs to be highlighted because these people were showing respect for the memory of children and others who were killed in these Manchester attacks, and for Fusilier Lee Rigby, who was also the child of a grieving mother who was killed.
Amen.
Double anniversary of that. The Tommy Robinson supporters showing respect for that with a moment of silence. And what does the opposition do? Chant, make noise, and act an ass. So I want to say to the Dandy Boys and everybody who's out there constantly talking about how the EDL and Tommy Robinson supporters are football hooligans and knuckle draggers and all of this, you know what, a-holes? As a Christian, as someone who is respectful of other people and who it wants real equality, I'd rather stand with these people than with you any day. You disgust me when you say these things about good people. And Jeff, if you don't mind now, I'm going to go ahead and play our promos. We are affiliated, guys, with with the SHR Media Network, and they have a lot of good shows. And with Jeff's permission, I'm going to go ahead and play some of these promos right now, guys. This is going to be about 3.5 minutes. You're listening to the English Defense League radio show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunnett. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunnett.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 2. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini.